So quick update on NEAR. In this video, we're going to be looking at the NEAR USD pair, and towards the end of the video, we are going to be wrapping up on the NEAR BTC pair. Now, for the past month, basically since the 11th of May, so like I said, literally almost coming on for a month now, we've been trending sideways. We're basically the same price as we were a month ago on the USD pair, and I did say that I was going to cover the BTC pair towards the end, but I want to mention this at the beginning so that all the altcoin holders that watch this can recognize that, since the 11th, all of these altcoins, they're massively capitulating against Bitcoin, even if the USD pair isn't moving too much. Now, what I want to focus on this video for the USD pair is this orange line that you notice here at $5.57. Now, if we zoom out, hop over to the weekly time frame, you can see this was the most macro Fibonacci that we currently have running on NEAR's chart, and the fact that we've capitulated below the 786 is really not a good sign. And it's even worse that on this weekly candle we had a bounce, we came up to the 786 and we got rejected and moved back below it. Really not a good sign right now. I'd love to see some continuation of green volume pushing this back up, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think this is going to be like a needle in the haystack, and for the next couple of weeks, we are going to continue to see bearish volume stepping in and taking over the market. Now, if we hop over to the daily time frame, you can already see, from when the bulls stepped in, it is already very much diminishing, and I think we are about to switch over into a bearish stance. That being said as well, you can see NEAR is currently getting smashed against the 13 EMA. This is not a good sign. I mean, since the last time we had a macro cross below this, $16.50, we retouched it at $13, had a massive drop, retouched it at $11.50, had a massive drop, we retouched it at $6.40, came all the way down to $4.60, and now we're lollygagging underneath it, which is not a good sign in my opinion. I really don't think what we're seeing on the market structure on NEAR is anything bullish whatsoever. And like I said, this 786, this was the most important level to hold. Weekly, if we look at the weekly, you can see the squeeze one, which is our momentum indicator of choice, is absolutely dumping to the downside. And while the lower time frames, for example the daily, has been getting pretty flat recently, I think this is going to start picking up momentum to the downside as soon as we come up to 530 and have that next move down, which I have predicting. I haven't made a video on NEAR for the past, I think it's been a couple of weeks, and like I said, it's simply for the fact that we have not done anything, and I don't want to milk views or make a video the next day and say, hey guys, the TA is the exact same as yesterday, we've just gone sideways, peace, that's all I've got. So I'd much rather, make these videos when I see something actually happening in the market. And as you can see, I mean, this was where I made my video, and we've just been going sideways, so it's been very boring. I thought I'd make an update for NEAR because I got a request, and I imagine some people are maybe wondering, where's this guy gone? He used to cover NEAR, he doesn't cover it anymore. We're literally doing nothing, so this is why I've kind of hesitated. It seems like we've broken out of this asymmetrical triangle type structure, but it's not exactly like we've had a run up. So I'm focusing on this uptrending line of support right now. I do think this is the level that we need to watch, around about $5.22. If we do massively start capitulating below that level, then it's going to be pretty confirmed that we would have been rejected from the EMA ribbons and the 13 EMA. That is pretty much all I want to say about NEAR USD. Like I said, lower time frames, we're kind of just switching on the 4 hours, switching between bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. 4 hour EMA or 4 hour squeeze one is pretty much useless when you're trending sideways. The daily and weekly, much more useful. You can see on the daily, as it's obviously been predicting, we've been going sideways, so it's obviously like we haven't had many bears step into the market because we're kind of just bleeding out slowly. But higher time frames, bears are definitely here, they're in control, and don't think just because we've got one minuscule week of green buying volume that is going to hold up the amount of sellers jumping into the market for NEAR. Let's check out how NEAR is doing in terms of its market cap and its positioning. Market cap is still pretty high, 3,762,000,000. Rank number 21. It seems like this almost came out of nowhere. I know this has been out for a reasonable amount of time, the past 2 years, in fact, well, year and a half coming on for it. But it seems very fast for a year and a half moving coin to move up to rank 21. So I do think this is probably slightly overvalued in my opinion. I do think that doesn't mean that I don't think the fundamentals are good, because I do. I think this is a good project. However, I do think that this probably needs to come down to some lower price targets before we have that reversal. Oh, we don't even need to do this because we've got a near BTC chart. That is basically all I see for near USD. However, you might be wondering, where is my price target? Because that is, obviously in the description of my videos. But what I've been saying, the last time I covered this, 24th of May or so, I was predicting a 37% drop. Now, at this moment in time, we've moved down about 11% since my last video, which is great because I've been sitting on the sidelines expecting lower prices. But from where we are now, I'm still predicting another 30% drop down to the 1.618 Fibonacci at $3.80. That is where I think we are coming down to. I think we're coming down to the 1.618 at $3.80. That being said, that is the USD pair. Let's jump into the BTC pair now. For the BTC pair, I really only want to spend a minute and a half or so, because I know most people are much more interested in the USD pair. However, I think it's super important that when we are in these bearish phases, we look at how altcoins are performing against Bitcoin. And one thing I'd like to note before we do look at near BTC is the Bitcoin dominance is exponentially growing to the upside. I don't know why I elongated that word. It's exponentially going to the upside, which is really not a good sign. Well, it is a good sign if you're like myself and you're predominantly in Bitcoin because you recognize that altcoins are getting wrecked right now. But if you're, a moon boy, if you've been watching YouTubers that have been telling you, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, now's the time to buy the dip, altcoins, buy the dip, altcoin moon season, altcoin bull run is here, and it's just not happening. The Bitcoin dominance keeps on going up. The Bitcoin dominance, literally in the past month, has moved from about 41.5% all the way up to almost 47%. So Bitcoin dominance ain't nothing to play with right now. It's exceptionally bullish, and while this is going up, Bitcoin is going to keep on outperforming altcoins. And it does not matter if we're looking at near BTC. You can see near BTC has just capitulated from this huge double top M pattern. Really not a good sign. Near BTC looks terrible. We've already capitulated below the 618 a while ago. USD pairs capitulated below the 786. I'm going to take this as a leading indicator of what is probably going to happen over in the BTC pair, but at least in the short term, I see near dropping another 20% against Bitcoin. What does that mean? That means if you hold X amount of Bitcoin, if you hold X amount of near, let's just say you hold 10 near, and at this moment in time you sell that near for Bitcoin. If this drop happens and near drops 20% against Bitcoin, you should be able to get, 12 near for that same 10 near that you sold for Bitcoin. So I think it's very important to note the Bitcoin dominance is moving up exponentially. While this is happening, all these altcoin pairs are going to get wrecked. There's not much to do TA on this. It's pretty much the same as the USD chart. We're getting wrecked against the EMA ribbons. We're getting wrecked against the 13 EMA. The EMA ribbons decided they don't want to load in for some reason. However, it's the same on all of these altcoin pairs. Oh, they finally loaded in. Daily EMA is obviously flipped bearish a while ago. But I just want to show you, it does not matter what you're invested in. Are you invested in Gala? This is how it's performing against Bitcoin. ApeCoin against Bitcoin. Engine, KDA, Doge, Crypto.com, JASMY. All of these cryptos, literally every single one that you could possibly think of. Near, Tron. Tron's doing okay in the short term, macro term, massive downtrend. AMP, Matic, like these altcoins are getting slaughtered against Bitcoin, and there's still moon boys saying it's altcoin season and altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. I highly recommend that if you're in, like personally my trading plan right now is I am 90% in Bitcoin and I am only 10% in altcoins. I recommend that if you're not predominantly in Bitcoin, look at how your altcoins are performing against Bitcoin. If you don't know how, simply click on this plus button, type in your altcoin. Let's say you're holding ADA, simply type in ADA BTC. There you go. You've got an ADA BTC pair. Just add this to your chart. Look at how your altcoins are performing against Bitcoin, because unless you're holding BNB, which is literally the only thing which is, even moderately holding up right now, if you're holding anything else other than BNB, you are probably getting wrecked if you're holding altcoins. So I think it's much better to just hold Bitcoin. Near looks like it is going down to lower price targets. Like I said, USD pair coming down to $3.80, which would be another 30% drop. The BTC pair, in my opinion, coming down another 20%. And that's the conservative breakdown. If we take out the 786, we're going to drop a lot harder after we finish that move. That's all I've got for you today. Hope you found some value in this video. As always, like I said, I'm not going to cover near every single day if we're just trending sideways, because like I said, we've been the same price for almost the past month now. I don't want to waste people's time and just make videos for the sake of it and saying, hey, you know, new TA video, I'm going to repeat the exact same TA from yesterday because we've gone sideways. That's not what I'm trying to do. When we have this big move, I will be updating you when I see it happening on my channel. So that's all I've got for you today. As always, hope you enjoyed the content. Not financial advice. Cowboy out. Peace.